As the deadly cat-and-mouse game between the Dark Knight and Hush intensifies, will another major rift be formed in Bruce's superhero family? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman issue number 161, a continuation of Hush 2, The New Batch, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue left off, and yeah, I know it's been a while, so you might need the refresher, Hush had managed to sneak up on Batman's son Damian and take him hostage. Batman basically says that this twisted war has gone too far and that Hush should leave the boy alone and take him in his place, even though in his internal monologue he says that situations like this are why he works alone. Dude, seriously, when was the last time you actually worked alone, Batman? Because it feels like forever. Hush also takes the opportunity throughout this issue to start throwing out a bunch of chess metaphors. Oh, castling won't save you now, Batman. After all, there's still so much more of the game to be played, like the fate of your two knights, no doubt making reference to Jason and Dick. How does Robin actually manage to make it out of this perilous situation? Well, surprise, surprise, he actually ends up saving himself by dusting off one of his father's old tricks. You know, that sonic device that can summon up a whole swarm of bats to help distract and injure the enemy. Batman had mothballed that idea, saying that he never got it 100% working the way he wanted it. But it seems that Damian managed to get the job done himself with a little extra funding from his mother, Talia al Ghul. This swarm of bats actually proves to be exactly what they need to send Hush and his henchmen running. Even though they literally had the upper hand just a few seconds ago, some bats is enough to make them turn tail and run. Thankfully, there just so happens to be a very convenient helicopter waiting to spirit them away. And look, don't get it twisted, I love Saturday morning cartoon conventions, but this is straight up the most Inspector Gadget coded escape I've seen in a long time. I'll get you next time, Batman. We will meet again. It also kind of strikes me around here too that back in the original Hush story, we actually didn't spend a lot of time with Hush himself. His whole gimmick was he was kind of a mystery villain, and honest, the more time we spend with him here in this story, his mystique, what little he actually had left, is diminishing by the minute. An enraged Batman tries to give chase to the helicopter, but he ends up jumping out too far, meaning that Damian has to grapple him back and save him from becoming Gotham's street pizza. He's not strong enough, but thankfully Bane is there to lend a hand. And no, really, that was all Bane actually did in this fight, I kid you not. Also, even though Bane just assisted in saving Batman's life not once but twice, the Dark Knight takes this opportunity to go in at both his son and the man who broke his back all at once. How dare you break him out of prison? How dare you work together? I'm still mad about Alfred. Despite the fact that, again, if you had read Joshua Williamson's Batman and Robin series, the Bat Family and Bane had actually managed to bury all the extra animosity and kind of get back to normal. But again, this book doesn't remember that. This book doesn't remember a lot of what's happening in other books. Now, hey, what was happening over with Nightwing, Red Hood, and Joker? The Clown Prince of Crime had come to from his coma at the end of the previous issue and comes to the realization that, oh crap, I guess Batman saved my life, huh? He doesn't really like that, nor does he particularly like being made a pawn in Hush's bigger game with Batman, and decides to unload on the two former Robins. Nightwing springs into action and saves Red Hood's life. Though we don't actually end up seeing the fallout of this situation, we only check back on in with Batman as he finds where Hush was keeping the Joker, accompanied with a lot of blood, as well as a literal chessboard, with him and his family sitting in for the pieces. Well, you know what, usually when they say a supervillain is a chessmaster, they mean that figuratively, but Hush took that phrase and ran with it to its most literal conclusion. What is perhaps most interesting about this chessboard is that there's actually an Alfred piece, despite the fact that Alfred has been dead for a while now. Jeez, how long has Tommy Elliott been working on this thing, I wonder? Batman does, however, see the Gordon piece off the board and jumps to the conclusion that something terrible must have happened to him, and indeed it did. Gordon survived the bomb from the end of the previous issue, and now Barbara is watching over him at the hospital, though she doesn't exactly take it so good when the former commissioner tells her that Batman saved the Joker's life. Which, like, yeah, okay, Barbara definitely has a deeper, more personal connection to the Joker's most heinous of crimes, but like, I still have a hard time believing that this is all part of Hush's plan to tempt the Bat Family and turn them against their mentor. Especially when we stop and consider all the other killers who Barbara has spared over her career as a superhero. Hell, all the time she spared her own brother, who is almost as bad as the Joker himself. Now, as it turns out, coming to the hospital actually ended up playing directly into Hush's hands. He's a chess master, in case you didn't know, and he sets off another bomb. No, not in the hospital itself, but instead on the exact building that Batman was standing on, across from the hospital. Yes, that's right, he knew exactly where the Dark Knight would be before even he knew where he was going to be. Barbara and Gordon are fine, fine, but Batgirl is royally pissed at Batman when they meet again. How dare you spare the life of the Joker, despite the fact that not killing is totally your thing and always has been. Also, how dare you, this war with Hush could very well have gotten my father killed were I not there to act quick enough. Let's you and I have a physical fight about this, and oh my god, this is literally just the scene with Red Hood from a couple issues ago all over again. Oh my god. We are only 3 issues in and this story is somehow already starting to repeat itself. What's even weirder though is Batman's internal monologue while this fight takes place. He pretty much talks about how Barbara inspired him by overcoming her spinal injury through a combination of science and grit, but he talks about it like it just happened. Seriously, was this book meant to be in its own continuity at some point? I just cannot help but shake that feeling, but we're not done yet with the weirdness as Barbara pulls out a trick I have never seen before. She uses like a camouflage net to briefly go invisible. Did she have that before? Have I just not been paying attention to her solo series? What a weird thing to pull out of the box of tricks. Did they assume that no one would believe that Batgirl could reasonably fight Batman to a standstill? So they needed to come up with some new, never-before-seen gimmickry? I don't know. Either way, Batman is able to win the fight by making use of special lenses in his mask that let him see heat signatures a la the Predator, and he ends up ending the fight by disarming Batgirl, though he does so at probably the worst possible time, as at that moment, Nightwing and the rest of the Bat family end up showing up to see Batman really acting his worst. Also, hey look, Huntress is here because she was in the original Hush, and oh look, Catwoman is here too. Is Batman gonna punch the Riddler like he punched Bane? He really should. And believe it or not, it's on that note right there the comic comes to a close, everybody. And so that was Batman issue number 161, and oh man, did this story really end up going off the rails fast, didn't it? We're 3 issues in and I'm still asking myself, what exactly is Hush's plan outside some belabored chess metaphors? I mean, I guess the plan is to turn Batman's family against him, but like, doesn't that happen every 5 to 8 years anyway? What was the point of bringing in Bane if he was just gonna get one punched and then leave the story? I mean, besides the obvious that Jim Lee probably wanted to draw him, and to his credit, this is still a very nice looking book. Why does Batgirl suddenly out of the blue believe that Joker is the true mastermind behind all of this and not Hush, despite the fact that masterminding things is kind of Hush's whole deal? Also, are we gonna have to watch Batman fight each individual member of his Bat family for the rest of the series? Because at this point, I think writers have pretty much run out of fresh and interesting things to say about the dysfunctional family animosity sometimes held between the members of the Bat family, and honestly, I'm just kind of bored to tears by it at this point. I don't know, maybe there's some great 11th hour twist I'm not seeing, maybe there's some shell game happening under the surface that's gonna blow my mind. Though in fairness, at this point, I'm just kind of not feeling it. Overall, I would give this one a 6 out of 10, and that's mostly for the Jim Lee artwork. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.